Welcome to The Newsworthy, all the day's news in less than 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. Thanks so much for listening. Today, we've got what you need to know about the new iPhone, the latest on Irma and President Trump, and 2 things about self-driving cars. That and much, much more, of course, all in less than 10 minutes. I'm Erica Mandy. Today is Wednesday, September 13th. You ready? Let's do this. Today, we start with Apple and the most anticipated and most expensive new iPhone. It's called the iPhone X, and it was just revealed yesterday. So here are the highlights. First, it's written like iPhoneX, but it's actually pronounced 10, so the Roman numeral. And that name is because it's been 10 years since the very first iPhone came out. So, how is it different? Well, it's glass on both the front and back with an edge-to-edge screen, so I'll be curious how easily it breaks. The iPhone X will not have a home screen button, and there's no Touch ID. Instead, it uses Face ID. So forget the thumbprint and just look at your phone to unlock it. It also has things like wireless charging and selfie takers. Prepare for some better lighting. Plus some other techie upgrades and all that stuff. Oh, and there's a new thing called Animojis. Animated emojis with animal faces that mimic what your face does. So you can send friends a message using a talking monkey, unicorn, or, well, I'll say it, the poop emoji. The price tag? $999, and it goes up from there. Pre-orders for the 10 start next month, and it's available early November. Of course, there's also the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. Those are basically just upgrades from the 7. Oh, and there's a new Apple Watch that has a big focus on fitness and music. It also doesn't have to be near your iPhone all the time anymore. All right, so if you are sick of hearing about Apple now, reminder, the new Samsung Galaxy Note 8, which has a lot of the same features, starts going out to customers this Friday. And Reuters reports more than 500,000 people pre-ordered it. CNET has a good comparison of the 2 pricey phones. If you want to check it out, it's in today's show notes on thenewsworthy.com. Okay, an update now about the Irma aftermath. Millions of people still don't have power in Florida. ABC News reports the death toll has gone up again. It's now 22 in the U.S. But CNN reports authorities were finally able to get to the Florida Keys, one of the hardest hit areas. Apparently, about 1/4 of the houses there are destroyed, and basically every house in the Keys has some sort of damage. As for the airports, they're back open. The hope is that the schedules will start to look a bit more normal today. Also, did you catch celebs on TV last night helping to raise money for victims of both Hurricane Harvey and Irma? It was pretty much on all the channels. A bunch of famous faces were there, like Oprah and George Clooney. The telethon was called Hand in Hand, a benefit for hurricane relief, and it raised more than $14 million. All right, coming up tomorrow, President Trump will be in Florida. The Hill reports he and the First Lady plan to visit to take a look at the storm damage. There aren't many details yet about exactly where they'll go, but there's an indication they'll start in Fort Myers. The U.S. Supreme Court says President Trump's so-called travel ban is okay how it is, at least for now. Reuters reports the ruling reverses a lower court's decision last week that would have allowed more refugees into the U.S. The Trump administration says more vetting is needed first before that should happen. Critics say the U.S. is turning away people whose lives are at risk. Reminder, the travel ban stops certain people from 6 mostly Muslim countries from coming into the U.S. But this issue is not over now. The U.S. Supreme Court will hear the full case next month. That's when a big final decision is expected. 2 things to tell you about when it comes to self-driving technology. First, the government guidelines just got a makeover. Forbes reports the Trump administration relaxed the recommendations for testing self-driving cars, although most of the guidelines weren't required anyway. The transportation secretary also told states not to put too many regulations on companies because it would stifle innovation. At the same time, Tesla is having to defend its self-driving software because it just got blamed, at least partly, for a man's death. The federal agency that investigated the situation for the last year found a deadly crash in Florida happened partly because the driver relied too much on the Tesla software called Autopilot, and partly because the software itself didn't respond to a semi-truck pulling out in front of the car. The LA Times reports it's the first known deadly accident involving this type of technology. Tesla did respond, though, saying the company is evaluating. Tesla also cited a report that autopilot increases safety, and the company says drivers using it should always pay attention, that autopilot is not full-on self-driving technology yet. There's a decision now not to bring federal charges against the officers involved in the arrest of Freddie Gray. Reminder, Freddie Gray died while in police custody in Baltimore in 2015. His death sparked weeks of protests. While the AP reports, the Department of Justice says there's not enough evidence that the 6 officers involved deliberately violated Gray's civil rights. Okay, other things people may be talking about today. President Trump just became a grandfather for the 9th time. ABC News reports Eric Trump and his wife just welcomed their son yesterday. His name is Eric Luke Trump. Twitter went a bit crazy over Texas Senator Ted Cruz's Twitter account liking, with the little heart, a tweet with a porn video. The Washington Post says Senator Cruz has responded that it was a, quote, staffing issue and a mistake. The like has now been removed. The annual report is out, and the best colleges in the U.S. for 2018 are, at least according to U.S. News & World Report, Princeton got the #1 spot as the best university, with Harvard coming in second, then Yale and the University of Chicago tying for third. Williams College is considered the best liberal arts college, and the University of California, Berkeley got the best public university. Star Wars fans, J.J. Abrams is back. Yep, the previous director for the next Star Wars film left over what was called script differences. Now, the same guy who helped make the last Star Wars movie a big-time hit will try to do it again. Remember The Force Awakens? Well, this time, J.J. Abrams will co-write and direct Star Wars Episode 9. It's set to come out in 2019. And that's it. You are ready to go. As always, read more if you want on thenewsworthy.com. Just click show notes and find today's episode. All the stories I referenced today will be there for you with links. And I'd love to hear from you today. Specifically, I'm curious, will you buy the new iPhone 10? What do you love or hate about it? Find me on Instagram, search Erica Mandy, and then comment on today's post. Feel free to just say hi. And thanks again so much for all the support in helping The Newsworthy land a spot on iTunes New and Noteworthy. I'm so grateful for the Facebook posts and the iTunes reviews that are coming in. It is completely motivating me, so please keep doing it. All right, have a great hump day, and let's chat again tomorrow.